What's up, you cool cats and kittens? It's Jackson Bush here. How you doing? Let me shake your hand. Let me shake your hand. All right. Thank you. Actually, please go wipe your hands because coronavirus is a thing. And just by saying that, this video would have gotten demonetized if we were getting paid at all. So, that's a thing. But welcome to an episode, first episode actually, if you don't count that video I did last week, or a week ago, of a week in review. So let's just jump in to the show. So this show basically is going to be like a solo podcast situation, just a time to refresh. Green screen's down. Let's take it down. Let's take everything down, and let's just chat one-on-one, one on whoever many, and figure out what's going on this week. What did happen this week, I guess, is a week in review, not a week to come. So the first thing I want to talk about is basically the channel's week in review, how everything kind of panned out. And I gotta say that, first and foremost, I think we did have a pretty good week. It was definitely better than last week. Last week I did end up missing a bunch of videos because I went out of town, and I did end up getting the equipment to film, right? But I wasn't actually able to record. And now that I've broken your eardrums with my sound, I'm gonna hold my mic like this, just hold my mic, This podcast can be slow, it can be easy, it can be whatever we want to make it, because it's just a week in review. But yeah, so we made those videos last week, and I gotta say, overall, they did pretty well. But the ones this week actually performed not as I had intended them to, but they were fun. I definitely liked the Pokemon episodes that came out this week. The Gen 2 challenge. I was actually kind of upset about the Gen 2 challenge because I couldn't believe that I didn't know 70% of the Mons. There was one thing that we didn't get to upload, which I'm actively working on now. I'll give you a hint. It's not this book, but it has to do with like the thickness of this book, how big this book is. By the way, this is Dune, which I bought because that movie's coming out, and you gotta refresh. And by refresh, I mean know anything about it, because I know nothing about Dune, other than the weird movie that came out in the 80s/90s, I believe, right? But yeah, books like this, we talked about in the Whirlpool, which you should definitely go check out, youtube.com/a bunch of numbers, because we're not able to put in the Whirlpool yet. Just type in the Whirlpool. But yeah, we talked about the industries, movie industries, book industries, the whole gambit, right? And what we came to the conclusion of is that there is so many different avenues for someone who just has a couple dollars to go spend on whatever it is they're going to spend it on. So like if they have $20, they're going to pick a movie, a book, which one gets you the best bang for your buck. And so like if we look at this Dune book, like sure, it 100% is a thick book, but that's kind of because of the font and how they made this book. But it's also $11, so you probably pay $13 after taxes, and then you get to have like a couple hour story. I mean, it kind of beats a $20 movie, unless you just aren't a fan of reading, which is something that we didn't really talk about in the podcast, but necessarily subjectively what you're a fan of. So it's kind of interesting, just on a weird level, how we can't just justify it by saying, oh well, you get more time, you get more experience out of reading the book. But I mean, I am a little biased, of course. Books are kind of my thing, writing is kind of my thing, even though to be honest, it does kind of worry me some whenever I say writing is my thing, right? And then I don't end up writing that day or whatever, or I just kind of miss the mark a little bit, and then it's just kind of like, well, I keep telling people that this is my thing. It is a thing I love to do. But when you don't actually end up doing it in practice, you're kind of just fibbing to the world a little bit. But anyway, so basically, books in general are a fun way to spend time, but they definitely have drawbacks. Like I'm reading the book that's probably going to come out tomorrow. Either we'll have 2 videos tomorrow, Monday, or we'll have 1 video, because we definitely got to upload the next episode of Fire Red, which is going great. I think at this point we're definitely out of SS Anne and Lieutenant Surge, so I think we're moving on. I think we're about to get the flute, to wake up Snorlax. But yeah, I think we'll upload that, and then maybe we'll do a double upload, because I said I wanted to come out this week. That didn't end up happening, so I think that we should definitely just upload it anyway, because I want to get it out as soon as possible. It might come out today with this video, but that just depends. I got a lot going on today. I got a lot of people who are graduating high school, and so they're doing their whole shtick and getting all their parties and stuff in. And so as part of that, I go along, with them, help them celebrate, give them that nice cash that they need. Graduation parties are kind of a weird setup, right? Because it's just like people come out and like it's not like a regular party where they hang out with the host and you kind of just all are one group. It's kind of like, no, part of this is just, well wishes for the future, but also give me cash and money or, whatever else, because that's going to help me propel in the future. That being said, I will really enjoy mine and being able to hang out with people and also get gifts and stuff ready for college, because it is 1 year away from me, but college definitely has a big impact on your money, obviously, but just how you end up spending money. Because if you've never paid for schooling before, or if you're in a situation where you've never had to think about necessarily the resources from which you need to spend your money, you definitely have a lot more options that open up that you got to think about going into your first freshman year of college, right? So for instance, you have the bath items or whatever, because if you go to a shower, obviously you need to have some kind of toiletry bag or list or whatever to keep your stuff in check, so that way when you go into the showers, if it's a communal shower or whatever, you're ready to go with your items. It's like preparing for an extreme version of summer camp that lasts anywhere from 4 to 17 years, depending on how much you want to study. Isn't that not crazy? Like the idea of these doctors that spend near a decade in school, that past a decade that they'd already spent in high school. That is kind of crazy if you think about it. You're spending dang near 20 years of your life in school, and then at the end of the day, you will be 30 and you'll be like a dirt nurse or doctor, whatever have you, and then you can just make bank as a 30-year-old. I guess it is the ultimate test of patience and time management and that sort of thing. Because my profession, if I go into it, if I stick to being a writer, right, then you can do that anywhere, and your degree can only necessarily be a backup to that. So that's why I'm kind of thinking of doing something like marketing, or a degree in which can be a support to whatever I do. Because you take a channel like this where you can just make content, and then if people like it, when through that, eventually you can actually make a living off of this. So it's very important that no matter what you do, whether that be the music industry, the book industry, whatever, you can actually do that anywhere as long as you have the right equipment. So in doing that, you can necessarily have any degree that will back it up. So like marketing, I'm kind of looking at that one right now because it's such a unique experience for today's day and age. I mean, there's so much that you can use a marketing degree for, right? So that being said, it's definitely a good idea to go into something that will enrich every aspect of what you're trying to do, especially in my case where I know I want to be in an industry like the entertainment industry, but I don't know what facet I want to do because so many things appeal to me, books or screenplays or anything of that nature, but there is a wide spectrum to that nature. Speaking of screenplays and just things coming out in general, next week, which we'll talk about in the next week in review, there is a little known Broadway musical coming to Disney Plus, Hamilton, and it's kind of exciting. Now I say kind of just because of course you have the idea that it's been 3-4 years since Hamilton was really popular, like it was booming, and so in that obviously you have the idea that Hamilton has lost some traction, and this is really a play to get people's hopes back up in the whole Hamilton scene. It is coming around July 4th. It's coming out July 3rd, but around July 4th. So that's a cool play of theirs to be like, well, here's something about America to help you out celebrating America. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, Disney Plus is kind of stale right now. I mean, they can hit us up with one hit per month, but like last month we got Artemis Fowl, and it's just kind of like, well, why do I want to necessarily watch Artemis Fowl? I'm not really the demographic. But then again, I'm not really the demographic for a lot of Disney Plus shows. I mean, the Marvel movies are fun, obviously, but those were skewed toward an older audience anyway, and more families. So I definitely think that that whole shtick of Marvel, Star Wars is for everybody else versus the 90% of Disney Plus, which is for kids, I guess. Which, you know, is also weird because then you look at, like, I've been seeing these videos of people talking about this movie Blank Check that Disney owns that came out a couple years ago, in which, like, a 12-year-old boy kisses a 34-year-old woman. Which, I mean, just sounds weird without context. But even with context, it's weird. I mean, what a weird movie to make, where a kid gets a blank check and he wants a girlfriend and he gets one that's like 3 times his age. It's crazy. I mean, it's a crazy movie to make, and obviously Disney is trying to hide a bunch of their stuff, but that movie I don't think they put a warning on or anything, so obviously they're not doing the best job that they can. But I mean, come on guys, you can do better. You can do so much better. But yeah, I think that will end this week in review. It's a little bit shorter. Like I said, I got a bunch of stuff to do today, and also tomorrow there's a bunch of stuff happening tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be a pretty exciting Monday. I said I was going to start doing streams on the 1st, or, you know, towards the beginning of the month. And I think we're going to do it a couple days early. We're going to do it on Monday. We're either going to be streaming on YouTube or Twitch. Now, if it's Twitch, I'm going to tweet it out. Obviously, my Twitter's in the description of all these videos. And I'm going to put it in the description of whatever video comes out that day. So if tomorrow we have two videos come out, that Twitch description will be down there, and then the YouTube one will you'll see it anyway. So that will wrap up this week in review. If you liked it, like it, you know the drill. This series is not necessarily about any of the YouTube mumbo jumbo. It's just a week in review. Put your thoughts down either on paper, which I should be doing, or this format of a video. So anyway guys, I will see you guys next time, and more importantly, I will see you guys tomorrow.